NASCAR's chief operating officer, Steve O'Donnell, claims that he and everyone at NASCAR were pissed off over the race manipulation that took place at Martinsville. However, it's hard to actually believe that given the penalties that they issued. They only issued penalties to Ross Chastain, Austin Dillon, Bubba Wallace, and their teams. They did not penalize William Byron, Christopher Bell, and their teams, the recipients of the race manipulation. If you were actually pissed off at the race manipulation and you were actually going to try and do something about it, why would you not penalize the teams that were actually benefiting from the race manipulation? Roll this up over at stockcarreport.com. You can find the link in the description below. Let's just listen to what Steve O'Donnell had to say here. And the question that he was asked by NBC Sports' Dustin Long. Let's take a listen over here. This is over on Kenny Wallace's YouTube channel. He shared the entire clip of the question. Bob Pocker says it on his X account as well. But I think it just looks better here on YouTube. So let's listen.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. What was the message delivered to the OEMs this week about race interference after last week? And how much weight is really behind your words when Elton Sawyer said this week that there was no mechanism in the rule book to penalize them? So if you can say something, how much weight, what did you say, and how much weight is behind your actual words to the OEMs?
So I think that's actually a really good question there by Dustin Long. I'm going to give him some praise for that. Actually asking them some tough questions. Like, you can say all you want, but how much does it actually mean? Are you actually going to back it up? And obviously from what we've seen, they won't. They aren't. I mean, what did they do? All they did was they suspended team executives instead of what they had done previously with Cole Custer. They literally did nothing different than Cole Custer except suspend team executives and then give a nice scolding to the teams. And who knows even what that involved. But as far as this claim that they don't have anything in their rule book to penalize these people, it's there in the rule book. They shared that when they penalized Cole Custer. So that doesn't really make any sense to me. I feel like they do have things in the rule book where they can indeed penalize the manufacturers. They call them OEMs. They're manufacturers, the automakers, which Kenny Wallace points out in this video at the end. It's just call them. Why are we calling them these weird acronyms? Auto manufacturers. Anyways, let's actually listen to what Steve O'Donnell had to say here.
So let's go back to what just happened in Martinsville. I would argue before what we saw, one of the best races again I've seen in the playoffs. And it's unbelievable that we're sitting here talking about this topic, right? And I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but I'll say it.
So I do agree with him. I actually thought the Martinsville race was absolutely fantastic until this insane controversy at the end. Ryan Blaney's charge to the front was really good. It was probably the best short track race we've seen outside of Bristol earlier this year with this new car here. So I actually think it was a really fun short track race, old school short track race for the most part, until the whole race manipulation stuff that went down in the last 15 to 20 laps with Chevy starting it and then Toyota obviously responding to it.
Anyway, I've been around a long time, but Bill France used to say being pissed off is not a plan. What I saw in Martinsville pissed me off, and it pissed everyone off at NASCAR because we all know better and we know what happened. So we do have rules in the rule book where we can address it, and we did. We had a call with our OEMs where we were very clear in what our intentions are going forward. It is true, Dustin. Do we have a rule right now where we could do something? We don't. Will we have a rule next year? 1,000%. And they're aware of that. And they're aware if anything happens this weekend, which it won't, but we will react. And then we have a meeting with our drivers on Saturday. The reason we chose not to penalize the drivers, I'll just address that now because we've seen that a lot as well. We made the decision that the drivers are holding the wheel, but the drivers were told essentially what to do. We gave them the benefit of the doubt. Saturday's message from Elton and John to the drivers will be that's your warning. We know what happened, and going forward, we'll have to penalize you as well. But what do our words mean? We're not going to let people, drivers, teams, anyone, OEMs, challenge the integrity of the sport.
So Absolutely ridiculous. They've already challenged the integrity of the sport. The sport was already challenged again with Cole Custer. And then 2 years later, that was in 2022 at the Roval with Custer. 2 years later, you get the same thing here. It's even more egregious at Martinsville. And you gave them the same fine that you gave Cole Custer and his Stewart Haas racing team. The drivers did get penalized. They got a $100,000 fine and like 50 points, driver points, and then 50 owner points, etc. But they didn't penalize William Byron. They didn't penalize Christopher Bell. They didn't penalize the beneficiaries of this. So why would anyone believe what you're saying when you didn't actually penalize the people who are benefiting from the race manipulation? If I'm a team owner and I have no integrity or low integrity, as Mark Martin likes to say, I'm going to manipulate the race because it's probably going to be making a lot more money getting into the championship than I am not. And then what NASCAR is going to fine me? $100,000 fine? Nothing. That's nothing. Absolutely nothing compared to what William Byron and Hendrick and Chevy, etc., are probably going to make in the championship, even if they don't win. And if they do win, a lot more. So I think their words mean absolutely nothing because their actions were milk toast. So you can say you're pissed off and everything. You can say you didn't like what you saw, but your actions say different. I might take these people seriously about protecting the integrity of the sport if they had actually penalized Byron, penalized Christopher Bell, and done it the day of the race. Instead, what do? They penalized Christopher Bell for a safety violation for the wall ride stuff. They didn't address any of the race manipulation whatsoever that night while they're on television where people are actually watching and seeing all of this stuff. Instead, they've done it throughout the week. Their explanations have been completely and utterly bogus. They look weak. And I think they are weak. I mean, they're already facing a lawsuit from Front Row 2311. Well, what happens if the manufacturers decide to be like, hey, we're done. We're going to go do our own thing. We're done with NASCAR. We're done with all of these people. We're going to start doing our own thing. We're going to Chevy, Ford, Toyota. We're going to go create our own league because we don't want to deal with these people anymore. I think that's on the table. I mean, we're already seeing big teams, 2311 Front Row, suing NASCAR. Obviously, they want to still be in NASCAR, but they are suing them for the charter agreement. I do think it's an issue too with, Mark Martin talks about this too, the big money, the big corruption. I think that is a major issue. And that's why I really like the dirt late model stuff, because you have all these different chassis manufacturers. Obviously, you have some big ones in there, Longhorn, Rocket, etc. But you have a lot of smaller ones: Double Nickel, Capital, Wells, Infinity. There's probably some I can't remember off the top of my head. But you have people actually building chassis, and they don't really have oversized influence over the National Series, World of Outlaws, Lucas Oil, Hunt the Front, etc. So I think that's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. And NASCAR does find itself in a pickle with that. I definitely understand that. But at the same time, you have to show that you do have integrity. And I just don't think they've done that. I do not think they've done that with their actions. They can say that they've done that and say what they've done that all they want. But even when asked, what weight do they have? Like, it's just threats of what we could do. Well, we've seen what you've done twice now. And you've issued the same penalty. And the only thing you really did with the Martinsville penalties here is you suspended some team executives for a race. Like, whoop-de-doo. They're going to sit at the team office and radio in anyways, or communicate somehow anyways. Like, it's nothing. Absolutely nothing. And a scolding. I just don't see how that solves the massive black mark that Martinsville is when it comes to the integrity of this sport. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys make of what Steve O'Donnell had to say. Do you think that he addressed this properly? Do you agree with him? I completely off the mark. Let me know. Let me know in the comments below.